Howdy heck and hello H2Os, Roller Bros, and Jeff Kings alike. I'm your guide Q, and welcome back to something we have not done in a long time because I was a little bit burnt out on the content for a while, but today we're back with more MLM stories. Some close encounters with boss babes, bad results of people getting involved in MLMs, things of that sort. If you are not familiar, an MLM is a multi-level marketing company, basically where they recruit people to sell the company's products for them, while also having a major emphasis on recruiting other people to recruit other people to recruit other people to sell the company's products. So it's a little bit schemish, and you'll see the results of that in these stories. Let's get into it. This story comes to us from Spunky Mushrooms, longtime sub here who loves your stuff. Thank you so much. This story might get a little bit messy because it happened like 4 years ago, and at the time my father and the single mother mentioned in the subject line were going through a messy breakup after nearly a decade of dating. I was a very angry teenager, so I didn't feel bad for her through any of this due to the circumstances. But looking back on it, now that I know what a pyramid scheme is, it was absolutely awful. So, my stepmom, I'll call her Kay, moved out of the house she shared with my dad, her 2 kids, and I. Kay's 2 kids were both disabled. She had a son my age with severe Down syndrome, and a daughter 2 years younger than me who was born incredibly premature, resulting in her only having 20% hearing capacity and some learning disabilities. She was also unable to gain weight and needed hearing aids for school. In her new place, Kay was constantly asking my dad for money to live. If he hadn't helped her, she probably would have been feeding her kids nothing but rice. As you can probably imagine, her kids' various illnesses and activities cost her a fortune. She worked 2 or 3 days a week as a masseuse and refused to take on any more work, until she was approached by an arbonne representative, or arbonne. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, I'm just going to call it arbonne from now on. Living in Australia, we don't really have any MLMs or pyramid schemes that I'm aware of, so arbonne seemed a bit more legit to her, I guess. Anyway, she asked my dad for $300 and refused to tell him what it was for. He gave it to her assuming her daughter needed some work done on her hearing aids or something like that. Then he went to visit her and saw the piles of makeup and stuff she had bought as a startup from the sales rep who had recruited her. Dad was pretty pissed off at this point, and that's when Kay went into this huge spiel about how she was going to be her own boss and work from home and empower other women to do the same, telling him that she'll make this $300 back and repay him within a month. Long story short, Kay ruined a lot of friendships and made herself look like a nutter trying to sell these products. She plastered it all over social media, messaged people she hadn't spoken to since high school, and spammed everyone's inboxes. At one point, she even had her daughter trying to sell it at school. People would buy 1 or 2 items from her because it was a small community, and everyone knew she had 2 disabled kids to raise, but nothing more than that. She never even made the startup money back to repay my dad. Through all of this, he was still paying her grocery bills. It's absolutely insane to me that people involved in these MLMs are so predatory that they'll take advantage of people as impoverished and as disadvantaged as Kay to make a quick buck. That is totally immoral. She was in a terrible state of mind after leaving a long-term relationship, caring for her 2 disabled children, and the consultant knew all of this and still signed her on. There wasn't even anything she could do legally to get her money back. How this is legal anywhere is beyond me. I'm right there with you. I really don't know how this is legal. If it were up to me, the laws on this sort of thing would be revised in a heartbeat. But this is exactly what a lot of MLM representatives do. They target someone that is in a vulnerable state, that is desperate for money, and they give them promises of some easy, quick income and amazing opportunities, and this is what happens the vast majority of the time. Okay, so this story comes to us from an anonymous subscriber, and they made it clear that English is not their first language, so if you see me read something that's different from what is exactly on the screen, that's why. So for background, I live in Mexico, and here MLMs are a super common thing. Everyone sells Avon, Natura, Herbalife, or whatever new thing comes to the market, so it's very common to buy these kinds of products from your neighbor. So this whole thing started about 9 or 10 years ago. My mom got to a new church where she had to attend weekly reunions in the house of a family who were her leaders, Diane and Joseph, fake names by the way. It was a 1-hour talk, and then we ate to get to know each other. Well, Diane used this time to promote her little side hustle to the attendants, and they, feeling a little guilty for eating her food, used to buy little cheap things, paying a little bit every single week so she didn't put a lot of pressure on them. I just want to note right off the bat, pretty interesting strategy, bringing people into your home, treating them to some dinner or lunch or whatever it is, and then trying to sell them stuff, and, you know, they buy a little bit every single week, but all that money adds up. That's crazy. However, my mom needed a lot of love and acceptance because she had a very rough life. Abuse, bullying from her family, a very toxic husband who left her pregnant. Tried to buy a lot from her, so Diane had to spend more time with her. At first, I didn't see anything wrong with it because people buy these things all the time. The thing is that Diane, seeing how much money my mom spent on the products, decided that she should also sell them. And so she started inviting my mom to every MLM she was into, and this is how everything started to go down. The first one, I think it was Herbalife, Diane saw that me and my mom were very chubby, so she had to help us, and said that her family had lost a lot of weight with it, and we needed to replace one meal with one milkshake and a very hot tea. So, obviously me being bullied for being fat, her daughters being my bigger bullies, didn't say anything when my mom replaced 2 meals, breakfast and dinner, with the milkshakes, and just ate 2 scrambled eggs every day so I could lose weight. As you might guess, I didn't lose weight, but it almost cost me my liver. So something must have been wrong with those shakes if it was actually doing damage to your liver, or maybe it was a lack of just nutrients in general that was affecting something. Diane prayed for me and told my mom that Herbalife wasn't to blame and that it could be that I was allergic, and only now could we see that. And just as you could expect, it worked. Then came Mary Kay. My mom likes makeup a lot, so she got obsessed and bought every eyeshadow palette, lipstick, and nail polish she could get. Selling a few luxuries we had, gold accessories used to be very common gifts for a newborn or a newlywed couple, until she didn't have space to buy more. There was a Japanese MLM, and it's supposed to cleanse you with ocean-purified water. I think it was called Sankey or something like that. My mom wasn't really into it, so I don't really remember. She did buy 24 packages for a year for both of us. The last one was Melaleuca? I don't know how to pronounce that. Screw that one in particular. They forced you to spend $75 every single month to buy things 50% off, and sell everything from supplements, oils, hot and cold beverages, cleaners, makeup, and even dog food. Thank God we have cats. You are expected to see every single one of their videos about their products, where they try to brainwash you into believing that they're 100% natural, organic, waste-free, perfect by USA and Canada standards, with relaxing music, a soothing voice, and perfectly happy actors. The thing is that by this point we were already having a monetary crisis, apart from my father's death and the bills from the MLM products. With $100 every month to pay for food and services, the house bills were $50 each month. Then Diane decided to say to my mom that she had a vision from God saying that in the new millennium we were going to use only Melaleuca products. My mom went crazy into this new revelation and sold our car, an old van, to buy every item from the online store and tried to force sell them to the churchgoers and family with that in mind, until she didn't have any more money to spend. And that's how we got screwed over by her church leader and lost almost everything we owned, except for the house because my dad left that for me in his will. There were a lot more MLMs involved, but these are the worst in my opinion. Now she works in a place where they make Avon flyers and stuff like that. Ironic, but she still defends MLMs a lot. This just makes me so angry and upset. I mean, this woman... I don't like to assume that people are evil. Like, my initial thought is, like, this church leader is not a woman of God. She knows what she's getting people into, but I don't like to assume that maybe this woman isn't just delusional herself and actually thinks that somebody's going to make money out of this MLM thing. But your mother was clearly drinking the Kool-Aid and completely caught up in all of this and making really poor decisions as far as impulsively investing in these MLM projects when they weren't really giving her any money in return. I mean, yeah, maybe she was making some back, but it doesn't sound like she made any profit from what you're explaining here. And honestly, if I were you, I know this sounds like super serious and hardcore, but I would be extremely careful of getting financially involved with your mom at all. I mean, I know it's your mother, like I can't imagine having to do that with my mom, but you really do not want her to drag you down with her. Like, you have a good head on your shoulders, you know what's going on, and, you know, she's just going through some rough stuff, but it's clear that she can't make good decisions for herself. So just be careful. I hope everything works out for the best, and your mom just gets more steady employment than this. Yeah, just rough story. So, as I said previously, these MLM stories can just be really, really brutal, and I actually took a little bit of time away from it because it just felt like the same horrible thing over and over again. But I do think that each of these stories have extremely important value, and this message needs to be spread as far as possible so that as few people as possible can get taken advantage of like this, because it is really the most weak and the most desperate people that are at the highest risk for being taken advantage of, and it's just disgusting. So take care of the people around you. I hope you guys are skating on to the best of your abilities. Drink more water, skate on. Why? I literally just... God damn it. Anyway, yeah, guys, take care of yourselves and the people around you. I hope you're doing well. Peace out.